All right, you and I are about to witness the legendary awakening day of Nanrong's students. High in the sky, a glowing demonic rift tears through reality, while adrenaline inside the bus reaches a boiling point. These kids have waited their entire lives to find out what kind of special abilities they will unlock today. Suddenly, Jiang Yan snaps awake in terror, eyes wide open and gasping for air. He looks like someone who just escaped death itself, gazing around the bus as the shocking truth hits him. He actually did it. He traveled right back to the very beginning. Staring at the rift station, Jiang Yan vividly remembers this exact morning, the day his generation would decide their fate. It all started 12 years ago, when these demonic rifts suddenly appeared. The Nanrong Rift was one of the first, bringing absolute chaos along with it. Hordes of monsters poured through the portals, slaughtering humanity on a terrifying scale. It was a bloodbath no one was ready for, and every attempt to fight back ended in disaster. Stepping into the demon world was a guaranteed death sentence for anyone. Even worse, technology failed as magical interference disabled all firearms and even nuclear weapons. But watch closely, humanity found a brand new hope. Anyone who turned 18 and approached the rift could awaken a specific class. They gained unique talents to hunt down the beasts. And after 5 years of brutal war, the world finally stabilized. Humans secured the rift entrances and slowly began reclaiming their lost territory. From then on, the entire society restructured itself around the power of the awakened. Now, every high school graduate is forced to visit a rift for their awakening ceremony. That single moment defines your entire destiny, with classes split into 3 main types: combat, support, and creation. While warriors become superstars, the others get absolutely zero respect. Creators are treated like basic factory workers, since nobody wants to stay indoors fixing gear when monsters roam free. Zhang Yan stares at his hand, remembering the absolute failure of his first life. He awakened an F-rank creation class, a joke for the top student, but he hid a secret talent: modification. He could change a single letter in any skill or item name to completely rewrite its function. We all know what happens when you stand out, you become a target. The elite immediately captured him, forcing him to serve their own selfish interests. He spent his days turning worthless trash into divine relics, making the powerful richer while treating him like a mere toy. They feared his potential if he ever grew stronger, so they watched him closely day and night. He was trapped with zero privacy, until one night a level 96 dragon emerged from the rift. It was an unprecedented catastrophe in human history. Zhongyan had barely hit level 70, joining the elite, and now suspects they used that monster to dispose of him. Teetering on the edge of death, he activated his modification skill one last time. He used his resurrection skill, altering a few letters to transform it into reincarnation. The trick actually worked, sending his soul back to the past instead of healing his body. He was reborn. Back in the present, the bus screeches to a halt, and the teacher orders everyone to get ready. Zhang Yan has no fear of those who killed him. This time, the only person he will trust is himself. The bus brakes loudly at the edge of the zone. This is where his second life truly begins. Having arrived at the contaminated Nanrong Rift area, Jiang Yan silently vows to hide his true ability. His plan is to grow incredibly powerful from the shadows, while everyone else ignores him. Saving his life and this city requires absolute secrecy, and a faint, determined smirk plays on his face. He does not mind being treated like trash for just a little while longer. The massive Hunter Association headquarters completely surrounds the Awakening Square, and a swirling purple vortex in the center marks the entrance. The moment the students step off the bus, nervous tension completely takes over. Trust me, they have no idea he will change this world. Come along with me as we watch the top student face massive expectations, while Yang Hongwei, the runner-up, just sneers from the sidelines. He has been waiting years to see this legendary genius finally crash face first onto the cold ground. He mocks Jiangyan loudly, reminding everyone that having high mana does not guarantee a combat class. He bets everything on Jiangyan failing. The teacher pats him on the back, telling him to go first. Hoping his best student brings good luck to the group, the officer leads the way up the massive stairs toward the awakening altar. He tells them to stay calm and simply place their hands directly on the crystal sphere. From the top of the plaza, the announcer loudly calls out Jiang Yan's name. It is time for Nan Rong's #1 star to step up. Jiang Yan approaches the orb, his footsteps echoing through the silent plaza. He walks toward a destiny that he has actually already experienced once before. He stands alone in the middle of the massive platform, with all the machinery humming around him. Everyone holds their breath as he approaches the crystal, looking completely confident with every single step. Unlike the crowd expecting so much, he already knows with absolute certainty what the result will be. His teacher and classmates are incredibly tense, praying that he awakens a powerful combat role. Now pay attention here, because they have no idea that Jiang Yan is about to become the school's biggest joke. Yang's lackeys talk trash, convinced that a kid from the slums only deserves some useless crafting class. The moment he touches the crystal sphere, the awakening mechanisms roar to life with massive force. A giant claw-shaped stand grips the crystal as glowing purple magic circles burst out all around it. A golden torrent erupts from the crystal, surging through Jiang Yan's hand and lighting up the entire hall. This is the turning point. A colossal pillar of light shoots up, completely enveloping Jiang Yan. The energy is so wild that it swirls around him in glowing ribbons of raw mana. As the blinding flash fades, a massive blue system screen materializes, floating right in the air. The word Repairer appears engraved in giant letters right in the center. The full screen confirms his terrible luck, showing Jiang Yan awakened as a rank F Repairer. Despite having a 100% mana affinity, his class is only useful for fixing items. His teacher is devastated, holding his head in disbelief that his star student just got the most useless low-level class of them all. Yang Hongwei and his gang are absolutely losing it, laughing their heads off. They celebrate the downfall of the school's star, showing zero mercy as they mock his rank F Repairer status. Yang laughs so hard he can barely breathe, pointing his finger mockingly right at his rival. After being stuck in second place for 3 years, he is definitely savoring this petty moment of victory. The awakening officer tries to comfort him, saying that a repairer can still make a decent living. Jiang Yan stands quietly in the shadows, keeping a calm face while the crowd continues to jeer. Suddenly, the crystal begins to shake, releasing an even more violent and destructive force. Blue lightning crackles across the surface of the orb, leaving everyone completely stunned. Don't blink, because the officer is totally shocked when the crystal suddenly starts reacting yet again. Jiang Yan is awakening a second class. His teacher's face instantly lights up with a tiny spark of hope. Dual classes are extremely rare, reserved for absolute geniuses destined to become global legends. He wipes sweat from his forehead, praying this second role is a combat class to save his future. He desperately needs everything to flip. Another massive explosion of light shakes the entire altar, shining far brighter than the first time. Wild waves of blue and golden mana crash together. The smoke clears, revealing his brand new profession to the world. A new system screen pops up, labeling Jiang Yan as a simple farmer. The screen shows the impossible, a dual-class user who is rank F. He is officially a repairer and a farmer, the most useless combination on Earth. The teachers and students are left standing in a state of absolute, stunned silence. Even the examiner is speechless, unable to comprehend how someone gets 2 classes, and each is worse than the last. The crowd is laughing, but trust me, we are just getting started. Stick with me to see how they mock him as a double F rank, laughing at a top student becoming a mere manual laborer. Jiang Yan does not say a single word as he turns around and heads down. He ignores every insult, focusing only on his own path. The teacher looks away, unable to watch the other students whisper about Jiang Yan having such terrible luck. To them, he went from a legendary prodigy to absolute trash. As he walks away, the whispers follow. Everyone assumes his years of hard work were wasted, feeling pity for his fall. But Jiang Yan does not feel unlucky. In fact, a faint, confident smirk appears on his face. He knows his classes look weak, but his true power is hidden somewhere else entirely. He keeps walking with his hands in his pockets, completely unaffected by their endless mocking. People have no idea that he just awakened a talent that literally defies the laws of reality. His status screen confirms his assigned class is just a repairer, but the real prize is his hidden talent, Modify. This skill allows him to change a single letter in the name of any object or ability to completely rewrite its function. His success rate is guaranteed with his own belongings, though trying to alter higher-level targets starts to get risky. He opens his private system panel to examine his Modify talent. This skill lets him alter the letters of a name to fundamentally change the existence of anything. Now, pay attention here as digital particles swirl around his hand, ready to rewrite a useless growth skill into something legendary, like Revive. The original skill was a simple F-rank ability meant to speed up plant growth by a miserable 10%. To anyone else, this would be a total joke, but with a burst of mana, Jiang Yan activates his amazing talent. The system screen glitches and flickers with neon colors as the modification takes effect. The panel stabilizes, revealing his brand new skill, Revive. It is a triple S-rank power, capable of healing wounds and reviving the dead. Jiang Yan smiles, looking at his hand. With an ace up his sleeve like this, he does not need a high-rank class to reach the very top. He heads to the city center and stares at the massive pillar displaying the rankings of the new students. He is already planning to claim the #1 spot on every leaderboard. Cold determination shines in his eyes as he walks. He is ready to show the world the true terror of being dominated by someone labeled as an F rank. He knows top students receive resources beyond imagination, and he has no intention of sharing a single thing. In this new life, he will become the absolute strongest on his own terms. You and I are looking at the rookie training base now, an industrial zone famous for its dangerous battering rabbits. This place is crawling with weak demonic creatures, safe enough for beginners to hunt them down. For Jiang Yan, it is the perfect spot to start grinding experience points. He knows breaking the speed record here will grant him bonus points for the upcoming provincial tournament. That is his ticket to an elite university. Jiang Yan strides toward the entrance with firm steps. He is not just here to level up, he is here to completely smash every single record of the facility. At registration, the base officer carefully checks Jiang Yan's student ID card. He notices this kid was the top student, yet only managed to awaken 2 crafting classes. The officer is highly skeptical, wondering how a double F-rank craftsman plans to survive the dungeon with 0 combat potential. He looks up from his tablet and asks if he really plans to challenge the dungeon completely alone. Even the early stages can be extremely dangerous for someone lacking a proper combat class. He steps forward and places a hand on Jiang Yan's shoulder, trying to be helpful. He suggests it would be way safer to join a party with some of his former classmates. Jiang Yan looks him dead in the eye, totally calm. He politely declines and asks for his basic starting gear. The awakening officer sighs as he watches Jiang Yan walk away. He assumes the kid simply cannot accept the harsh reality of having double F-rank classes. He hands the basic starting gear to the former top student. It is a miserable set, an iron sword, and cheap leather boots. Jiang Yan closely inspects the gear. But think about it, it is slightly better than his past life weapon, so maybe the officer felt some pity. Come along with me as we watch system windows pop up for an iron sword, with 5 attack and speed 3 boots. Both are level 1 gear. Jiang Yan smiles politely and offers a well-mannered word of thanks. Brushing off the man's pity, since he knows everyone thinks he is weak, he heads toward the massive gates of the novice training camp. Behind those thick walls hide the charging rabbits he intends to use for some lightning-fast leveling. Thanks for the warning, Jiang Yan says with a sidelong glance. As he bids the officers farewell, his calm contrasts with their worry. The heavy doors slam shut with a metallic boom, locking him inside the dungeon. Now he is officially alone, exactly where he wanted to be. Once out of sight, Jiang Yan stops and activates his talent. Digital blocks and neon colors burst all around him as he summons his modification power. Watch closely right here. He targets his iron sword first and, in a flash, reforges it into a powerful steel blade. Next, he modifies his leather boots. They glow with purple energy as they transform into wind boots, granting massive speed and a bonus stat. Jiang Yan examines his newly upgraded sword. He knows he could transform it into a holy or demonic blade, but decides against it for now. Staying cold and analytical, he reminds himself to keep a low profile, knowing security cameras monitor this dungeon. The memory of being a puppet in his past life still burns. He will not make the mistake of revealing his full talent so soon. He decides this tier of gear is more than enough to clear the basic zone. He does not want to draw attention yet. The training ground is a massive, dark facility divided into 3 distinct sectors: the basic zone, the advanced zone, and the boss zone. From the shadows of the basic zone, dozens of glowing red eyes watch the newcomer. The monsters have already locked onto their target. To break the record and secure his future, I know what you are thinking, but Jiang Yan must reach the boss zone and slay the ultimate monster. Suddenly, fierce charging rabbits emerge. They are low-level demonic beasts with crystal head armor, famous for their brutal ramming attacks. Jiang Yan readies his sword, his eyes locked onto the pack. His immediate goal is to hit level 5 right here by wiping out at least 100 of these creatures. One of the rabbits squeals, red eyes glowing as it prepares to charge, far larger and more menacing than any normal rabbit. Suddenly, a giant horde of these beasts surges out of the darkness. A literal sea of monsters rushes straight at him, their crystal-armored heads lowered. Jiang Yan does not flinch. Drawing his sword, he leaps into battle with fluid, precise movements, ready for his first strike. With a single, glowing slash of his upgraded blade, he splits the lead monster in half. The blue energy of his attack leaves a luminous trail hanging in the air. He becomes a whirlwind of steel, ripping through the horde. Every slash sends rabbits flying with their armor completely shattered. He moves at a speed impossible for anyone holding an F-rank class, driven by his wind boots and sharp instincts from his previous life. As he fights, he's already planning to reach level 10. At that point, he will unlock a divine skill capable of spawning ultimate demonic beasts. His determination is absolute. Every defeated monster is another step toward power, ensuring nobody will ever control him again. He lands a devastating blow on another creature, generating a powerful shockwave upon impact. He pushes himself to the limit to clear this stage as fast as possible. While battling inside the dungeon, he remembers his rival Yang Hongwei must be going through his awakening ceremony right now. Back at the school square, the atmosphere is electric. The teacher calls Yang Hongwei, and the arrogant student steps toward the orb. Yang Hongwei is sweating, his face tense with sheer desperation. He begs for a B rank or even a C rank, anything to beat Jiang Yan's F rank. Suddenly, the orb erupts with mana and light. Massive spirals of blue and white energy rise up, showing power far beyond an average awakening. A huge, glowing banner appears floating right above the platform. And believe me, the word Berserker blazes with fire, revealing a brutal combat class. Get ready, because you and I are about to see Yang Hongwei unlock an incredible Class A combat profession. He throws his arms wide with a triumphant, crazy roar, totally losing his mind and screaming that he finally won. The entire student crowd just freezes. They cannot believe the eternal runner-up just scored an elite class as he points arrogantly towards the sky. He swears out loud that from this day on, nobody will ever call him second best again. A smug grin spreads across his face as he soaks in the attention. He finally has the power he craved, screaming his own name to let the whole city know he is the absolute boss now. His group of lackeys immediately crowd around him, showering him with ridiculous praise. They are already mocking that loser Jiang Yan, comparing him to their powerful new boss. Yang joins in the laughter, wondering where that double F rank trash could have run off to. He almost regrets that Jiang Yan is not here to witness his grand moment of glory. One of his minions smirks as he mentions he saw the guy heading straight for the rookie training camp. Hands in his pockets with a nasty look, Yang leads his little gang right out of the central plaza. And here is where things get interesting. They decide to follow the trash under the excuse of offering help. Their teacher frowns as he watches them walk away, slowly adjusting his glasses. He knows exactly that Yang is just looking to humiliate Jiang Yan, especially with his massive Class A rank advantage. In the silence of the night, a single light remains burning in the classroom. Everyone remembers the relentless effort of Jiang Yan, who stayed up until dawn, buried under mountains of books. The memory shifts over to the sports field, where a younger Jiang Yan runs non-stop under the blazing sun, pushing his limits to exhaust anyone watching him. Even while tempering his mana, he stood out completely. He sat amidst the overflowing energy, enduring extreme pain without ever letting out a single groan of complaint. The teacher simply cannot wrap his head around the awakening ceremony results. He doesn't get how a kid who sacrificed so much ended up with the most useless F-rank profession. Wang Qingfeng watches from the edge of the crowd, slowly pulling a lollipop out of his mouth. I know what you're thinking, but trust me, an F rank is not going to stop our protagonist. As the second best in theory and combat, Wang has always lived in Jiang Yan's shadow. He knows better than anyone the absolute brutality of his rival's intense training. He narrows his eyes and recalls their first-year finals when he realized the massive gap between them. Right in the middle of the school arena, both of them clashed in an intense sparring match. Despite his undeniable talent, Wang was completely overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of Jiang's attack. Even covered in cuts and bruises, Jiang Yan's eyes never lost their fierce, sharp focus. He was a true force of nature, refusing to back down no matter how much physical damage he took. Hearing that Yang is heading to the training grounds to cause trouble, Wang decides to follow. He won't miss the chance to see how his rival handles this new challenge, walking like a calm predator. In his mind, he is the only one who has the absolute right to defeat and humiliate Jiang Yan. Meanwhile, at the training ground, Jiang Yan rests on a literal mountain of defeated monsters. He is completely drenched in sweat and breathing heavily, after luring and slaughtering over 100 rabbits at once. Leaning on his sword, he stares into the dark cave. He knows only the Rabbit King remains, and beating it is the key to clearing the zone and reaching level 5. Suddenly, the ground shakes as the Rabbit King charges furiously straight out of the shadows. It is a giant beast with a glowing orange crystal on its forehead and eyes full of wild rage. His screen displays his current status, level 4 and 94% experience. He is clearly exhausted, with blood and dust staining his school uniform as he analyzes this new threat. The monster snorts and lowers its head. And you and I know what's next! The elemental crystal on its forehead starts buzzing with highly dangerous energy. With a brutal roar, join me to see how this massive rabbit shatters the ground charging at our student. Jiang Yan watches the monster close in as his winged boots glow with a bright green aura. He knows a head-on physical clash against a level 5 boss would be absolute suicide. The Rabbit King's crystal bursts into violent flames as it triggers its fiery headbutt skill. The air around them vibrates from the extreme heat of this incoming brutal impact. Jiang Yan snaps his fingers with a metallic click, his purple eyes glowing with a cold intensity. He summons his modified talent, having patiently waited for the monster to unleash its ultimate attack. The Rabbit King is about to land a devastating fiery headbutt, but Jiang Yan calmly uses his modification skill to change one single letter, transforming the headbutt into a head explosion. The new description is brutal. Instead of attacking, it forces the elemental crystal armor on its skull to detonate instantly. It is a complete self-destruction move forced directly onto his enemy. Unaware its fate is sealed, the giant rabbit roars and charges, its head glowing like the sun, believing it is about to crush the human before it. Once the skill activates, the Rabbit King's head literally explodes into a massive fireball. The blast works like magic. Watch closely, because this deletes the boss in just 1 second. Jiang Yan stands calmly among the debris, not even breaking a sweat as the dust settles. He notes to himself that a forced self-destruction skill really works like an absolute charm. Massive experience points from the defeated boss flood in, leveling him up. A system screen confirms he has officially hit level 5. Back at the base, a massive leaderboard screen lights up, announcing that the record for the charging rabbit zone has been destroyed. Jiang Yan did not just beat the record, he shattered it with a time of 26 minutes and 2 seconds. The other students cannot believe their eyes, pointing and shouting at the screen in complete disbelief. The previous record was over an hour, yet this F-rank kid cut it down to less than half. Yang Hongwei stares at the screen with a twisted face as cold sweat rolls down his neck, unable to grasp how a double F-rank could achieve this. I know what you were thinking, and yeah, the entire crowd is already whispering about cheating. If he actually cheated in the training base, his reputation will be totally ruined once they catch him. Yang Hongwei clenches his fist with narrowed eyes, swearing to expose Jiang Yan's lies himself. He is convinced this fallen genius turned to trash must be hiding some kind of scam. Deep inside the dungeon, the target of all that hatred rests on a rock, bathed in a green glow. Jiang Yan activates a regeneration skill to restore his health before advancing to the next stage. He looks ahead, already visualizing his next opponent, the feared Cyclone Wolf King. In his past life, that beast was a nightmare that made him suffer deeply, but things are different now. He stands up, grabs his sword, and shakes off the fatigue. The warm-up is officially over. Sword resting on his shoulder, Jiang Yan strides forward. He is not here just to level up. This time, he will take back everything he lost. And just like that, he reaches the Cyclone Wolf base. This place is notoriously known as a rookie slaughterhouse, but he is no ordinary rookie anymore. Most rookies are barely level 5, but the monsters here range from level 6 to 10. And the Wolf King waiting at the end is a nightmare for anyone who is unprepared. For an average student, choosing this base is a one-way ticket to pain, as these wolves tear anyone apart instantly. But with higher risk comes much greater reward. High-tier rewards are the only thing that will power his plan to rewrite fate. Winning here means hitting level 10 instantly. It is a shortcut that skips weeks of grinding, provided you can survive this massive slaughter. Normally, it takes a rookie 10 full days of grinding to reach that goal, but he has no time to waste. Hitting level 10 is not just about stats, it is the threshold to awaken a second innate skill. That is his ultimate goal. Stick with me, and let us find out if he can become the absolute strongest. Get ready, because today we are watching a guy go all out to face this world's true challenges. The receptionist looks at him with absolute disbelief, asking if he really plans to solo a dungeon meant for a full party of 6. He warns Jiang Yan that even an A-rank genius barely survived. To him, an F-rank kid has zero chance of making it out alive. Holding nothing back, he calls Jiang Yan a double F-rank loser, accusing him of seeking his own death. But Jiang Yan just smiles politely, thanking the man for his concern. His mind was made up the second he stepped off that bus. The clerk sneers and steps aside, saying that if he wants to die so badly, he won't stop him. The massive portal rumbles as the path opens up. Jiang Yan walks down the dark corridor, completely ignoring the insults. He won't let some random barking stop his relentless climb to the top. Deep inside, the wolves sense the intruder and begin to howl. They are starving, and a lone human is the perfect prey. Jiang Yan starts sprinting, heading straight into the heart of the training zone. Pay close attention here, it's time to see if his training paid off as he draws his shining sword. He hasn't fought like this in years, and he's eager to test his current limits. From a safe observation deck, the employee watches the screen with a smug grin. He's still convinced he'll watch a loser get ripped apart, thinking Jiang Yan is just another arrogant fool mistaking courage for suicide. Going solo like that usually ends in a total massacre. But the blood isn't Jiang Yan's. He shreds the pack with surgical precision, gaining experience with every single slash. The clerk's arrogance instantly vanishes into thin air when he sees how effortlessly the boy fights. He notices that Jiang Yan hasn't even activated a single innate skill yet. Sweating bullets, he grips the railing, watching the loser he mocked dominate the field. Did he just witness a hidden genius? Moments later, the dust begins to settle, leaving nothing but a massive pool of blood on the floor. Jiang Yan stands triumphant on top of a mountain of dead wolves. He wiped out the entire pack, turning this slaughterhouse into his own personal leveling zone. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, the guy was left completely speechless after realizing how wrong he was. He immediately runs toward the exit, absolutely terrified of what might happen to him now. He knows he humiliated the kid earlier and doesn't want to be around when payback comes. Jiang Yan drops to his knees, glowing with green energy as his wounds begin to heal up. He's almost reached level 10, but the sheer intensity of the fight pushed him to his absolute limit. He activates regeneration, his first innate skill, which burns his mana to heal physical wounds. That's the only reason he's still standing after those heavy hits. He stands up on his pile of trophies, looking down at the fallen beasts. They were much tougher than the rabbits he fought earlier, but their speed still couldn't match his own. He clenches his fist, ignoring the stinging pain in his arms. Pain is a small price to pay for the incredible progress he's making. His sword is dripping with blood, proof of how many wolves he had to slay to get here. He narrows his eyes, staring into the darkness. The main event is finally here. A massive shadow emerges from the dust with glowing green eyes. Jiang Yan knows the time has come for a true battle of kings. The Cyclone Wolf King lets out a terrifying roar, bearing fangs built to crush the hardest steel. This level 10 beast is the peak of its species, infused with wind element to move at blinding speeds. Jiang Yan calmly analyzes the creature. It relies on extreme speed and sharp wind blades to shred its prey. The king lunges. Its body flashes with green energy, activating a speed boost. A devastating combo that would shred any average rookie in seconds. Jiang Yan keeps his cool, waiting for the perfect window to trigger his modification talent. He quickly realizes there's no easy way to rewrite the wolf's skills in the middle of active combat. As the monster leaps, he holds off on modifying it. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens in the next chapter. All right, get ready, because you and I are about to watch our main character finish this fight completely differently. Ripping off his bloody shirt, he stands sword in hand among the slaughtered pack, ready to end this the old-school way. A massive shockwave erupts as he blocks the Wolf King's head on strike. This is no longer just about using skills. He is unleashing a lifetime of raw combat experience. Jiang Yan closes the gap in a single leap, putting every bit of his new power into this final blow. He was always a genius on paper, but now he proves he completely dominates the front line too. Meanwhile, things are not looking good back at the Swift Rabbit rookie base. Several rookies are collapsed on the ground, gasping for air after a miracle rescue. They are just glad to be alive. And the base staff will not be giving them any participation awards, furiously scolding them for acting like idiots and wandering into the advanced zone. Among the injured is Yang Hongwei, seething because he cannot comprehend how Jiang Yan cleared a zone his own party could not even enter. Watch closely. Here, he takes his rage out on a teammate, punching him, while screaming that Jiang Yan cheated. But the leaderboards are absolutely destroying reputations today. Jiang Yan did not just clear it, he completely smashed the record with a time of 29 minutes. The other students lose their minds when they see the previous hour-and-a-half record was cut by 30 entire minutes. They stare at the screen in shock as Jiang Yan's rank shoots up by over 300,000 spots instantly. Yang Hongwei's face twists into a hideous snarl, deciding that if his rival is going to play dirty, he will show him real humiliation. He orders his group to the Cyclone Wolf base, pretending to offer support but secretly begging for a disaster. He is determined to expose him as a total fraud and humiliate him in front of the entire school. Back inside the dungeon, it is absolute carnage, leaving only a bloodied blade and dead wolves in the wake of Jiang Yan's path. He rests under the sun after hitting level 10, and guess what? We get to see him unlock his second skill set now. The system alerts him with the great news, granting durability for his craftsman class and plant grafting for his farmer class. His status window confirms he has reached double digits, adding 2 more tools to his rapidly growing arsenal. He is completely drenched in blood, but his eyes stay glued to the screen as he prepares to bend the rules again. With a flash of divine energy, he selects the basic plant grafting skill and begins the enhancement process. The modification works, transforming a basic skill into a divine tier universal grafting. He knows he just hit the jackpot. Now, he holds the absolute power to create ultimate demonic beasts. Even at level 1, he can fuse genes from different species to breed entirely new and superior creatures. He realizes that by leveling this skill to 10, his success rate for high-rank monster fusion hits 100%. This means he can take terrifying beasts and transform them into living nightmares with absurd racial abilities. The potential is insane, allowing him to breed an S-rank beast by simply combining 2 A-rank creatures. Once he gets his hands on a taming scroll, he can place these fused monsters under his absolute control. He is already picturing himself leading a loyal battle pet that will easily overpower any rival on the field. He has not forgotten his past life, back when the societal elites treated him like a mere puppet. He remembers being forced to kneel while others stole the glory he literally helped them build. That will never happen again. In this new life, every single ounce of power he gains belongs solely to him. He sheathes his sword and looks over the field of dead wolves, highly satisfied with the massive haul. Luckily, a pretty rare magic crystal drops as a reward, a highly valuable item to upgrade his gear. Though these crystals belong to the school, reaching level 10 means he can finally enter the real wilderness. Once outside the demonic rift, every piece of loot he acquires will be entirely his, solving all his financial struggles forever. He groans in pain as his adrenaline begins to fade and his accumulated injuries start catching up to him. And that is where you and I leave him today, nursing his wounds to avoid a massive medical bill. Let's see what crazy plan he has. If he can resurrect, why not just end his own life right now? But doing it in public during a night patrol would draw too much attention. So he decides to find a hidden spot to reset his status without witnesses. Jiang Yan quietly slips away from the training grounds and heads back to town. Arriving at the Academy Plaza, he stops dead in his tracks upon seeing a massive crowd. He wonders what is going on when someone suddenly points at him for breaking the record. The excited student keeps pointing directly at the newcomer. Jiang Yan looks around, realizing his massive achievement has already spread everywhere. He quickens his pace, knowing he cannot secretly use his revive skill with everyone watching him. Cold sweat drips down his face as his wounds worsen, and that massive bloodstain on his clothes totally gives him away. Surrounded by constant whispers and curious stares, he knows he must shake them off before his health completely crashes. Now watch closely as a brilliant golden light descends from the sky, covering the entire plaza. A winged silhouette lands, casting a powerful healing spell that instantly eases Jiang Yan's pain. The crowd goes wild upon recognizing the legendary rank S support, the Holy Angel. It is Yao Kexin, from the prestigious Yao family, whose very presence instantly silences the entire crowd. Nobody can believe she is actually here, watching her descend like a true goddess. Jiang Yan feels a rush of warm, healing energy that wipes away his exhaustion instantly. Yao Kexin lands with flawless grace, calmly looking at the young man she just saved. He immediately thanks her for the crucial help as his severe wounds heal right up. In return, he offers an amazing deal to repair all of her gear for free from now on. He knows having a legendary healer ally is exactly what his future plans require. Yao Kexin smiles warmly and clasps her hands, happily accepting his generous maintenance offer. I know what you are thinking. Peace never lasts, and right on cue, a jealous bully steps up. He screams loudly, waving his arms to make sure everyone is looking at him. He points straight at Jiang Yan, calling him a cheap cheater, claiming his record is nothing but a total lie. Whispers break out as people remember he is just a pathetic rank F with no real power. He arrogantly claims that soloing a dungeon as a double rank F is impossible without dirty tricks. With a wicked grin, he mocks him for using cheap shortcuts to try and beat him. He tries to turn everyone against him by insulting his poor background, bringing up his financial struggles, and accusing him of abusing the school financial aid. This desperate shouting aims to completely destroy our main character's hard-earned reputation. The tension rises as the surrounding students begin to doubt Jiang Yan's sudden rise to fame. He remains totally calm and directly asks the bully if he wants proof of his innocence. The rival takes the bait and instantly challenges him to a duel without his armor. Yao Kexin steps forward in worry, warning him not to fall for such a cheap trap. Jiang Yan appreciates her concern but has already decided, reaching for the hilt of his massive sword. In one swift motion, he draws his blade and slams it into the ground, accepting the challenge. He needs to crush this annoying obstacle before focusing on his next big goals. Suddenly, Yang Hongwei unleashes a terrifying red aura, his eyes bloodshot with rage as he activates his rank A berserker skills. He promises to beat him so badly that he will shatter his mask of lies and his teeth. The system screen pops up to show his hidden talent. And trust me, you and I do not want to miss a single second of this epic battle. Let's jump into this brutal fight. This bully charges with superhuman speed, leaving a trail of red energy. Jiang Yan watches that reckless charge with a cold, distant gaze, completely unimpressed by all that raw power. He immediately senses the attempt to intimidate him with a higher class he knows ranks don't decide a battle. Clenching his fist, he is convinced that his opponent's class-based confidence is nothing but a shallow, superficial advantage. Taking a refined fighting stance, Jiang Yan gets ready to prove that real strength actually comes from within. Yang Hongwei throws a devastating punch, his face twisted in rage as he tries to end it with a single strike. Yao Kexin watches with growing fear, believing an F-rank creator stands absolutely no chance against an A-rank combatant in a fair fight. But Jiang Yan remains completely calm, tracking every single movement as he prepares to counterattack right away. Shifting into a low, focused stance, his hands are empty, but his determination is rock solid. He remembers that he had already carefully restored all his modified gear before leaving the novice base. Watch his hand closely. Here he knows his physical strength is enough to crush this bully without using hidden items. By fighting empty-handed, he makes sure nobody notices anything strange about his upgraded equipment. Standing firm on the stone tiles, he makes sure to show he isn't carrying any weapons or armor. He confirms to himself that he has zero gear equipped, forcing this battle to be decided by pure skill. Yang Hongwei roars as he lunges forward, his entire body wrapped in a turbulent red aura of berserker energy. Gritting his teeth with a wild smirk, he is sure this will be the moment he ends Jiang Yan's lucky streak. Yang Hongwei throws a massive, glowing strike, but Jiang Yan spins on his heels with almost surgical precision. The punch whistles through empty air, leaving the A-rank berserker wide-eyed as he stumbles forward from the sheer momentum of his own attack. Veins pop on Yang Hongwei's forehead as he screeches to a halt, his red energy exploding like intense flames. He refuses to believe his enhanced speed and strength could be dodged so easily by a mere F-rank student. He unleashes a frantic rain of blows. His fists blur into red streaks as he tries to overwhelm his opponent, shouting that there is no way he can dodge every single hit while pouring all his mana into the assault. Jiang Yan flows like water, effortlessly slipping through every single opening in that furious berserker's sloppy combat technique. I bet you guys are loving this too. He dodges every fist by millimeters, effortlessly keeping a safe distance. Jiang Yan watches a glowing fist pass right by his face, keeping a completely cold and analytical expression. He admits that an A-rank berserker is a powerful class, with truly overwhelming physical potential. He lightly deflects another heavy strike, continuing to play coolly with his opponent's rising aggression. He knows very well that no matter how powerful the attack, it means absolutely nothing if it never actually hits the target. Jiang Yan slips under Yang Hongwei's defense, preparing a firm, controlled punch. He knows blind swings just drain stamina, having memorized every single one of his rival's flaws over 3 whole years. He lands a precise, devastating blow right to his opponent's abdomen, releasing a shockwave that shatters his red aura. A sickening crack echoes across the plaza, as the force of the impact sends that bully flying. Jiang Yan looks down at his completely broken opponent, his eyes reflecting a level of combat experience that far surpasses his simple student status. It serves as a reminder that despite years of trying to trample him, he could never see the true strength hidden underneath. Yang Hongwei drops to his knees, spitting blood and saliva as the wind is violently knocked out of his lungs. He gasps in disbelief, eyes wide with panic as he tries to process how he was defeated so overwhelmingly. The arrogant student hits the ground with a heavy thud, sliding a couple of meters across the pavement. His group of lackeys rushes out of the crowd, shouting in panic as they help their defeated leader. Jiang Yan stands tall under the blue sky, his breathing as calm as if he hadn't even broken a sweat. And that's where we leave it. He stares down at his beaten foe, making it clear who's boss. All right, you and I are about to watch the quiet square turn into absolute chaos. Nobody can even process what just happened here. A rank F creation student just completely destroyed an elite rank A warrior. Jiang Yan turns his back on the chaos, calmly dusting off his hands as he prepares to leave. For him, the matter is closed, and he won't waste another second on someone far below his level. He walks away from the academy with hands in pockets, already planning his trip to the dangerous wildlands. He knows all too well that before he goes, he needs to get some decent gear. The image of a legendary glowing sword flashes through his mind, surrounded by the complex runic circles of his unique ability. He is confident that with his modified skill, top-tier gear only requires a simple base. Stopping outside the massive training base, he scratches his head, remembering he already returned all school gear. So, his first stop will be the street vendors to find cheap items to use for modifications. He reaches in his pocket, pulling out just a few miserable coins, making a hilariously disappointed face. He sighs heavily, realizing that even basic gear might be out of reach with the little money he has left. But don't blink, because someone throws a massive surprise punch at his back. He doesn't even flinch. Sensing the blow long before it arrives, he blocks it with a quick palm strike. Jiang Yan looks back, thinking it is Yang Hongwei again. He is so done with that guy's nonsense. But to his surprise, the one showing up to pay respects is Wang Qingfeng. He has been keeping a close eye on him, knowing he dominated both theory and combat for 3 straight years. He tosses a cold soda to his old rival, and they stroll across the plaza, cracking their drinks open. Wang Qingfeng admits he watched the fight earlier and would have stepped in if things got ugly. We both know he is incredibly picky, and right now, only Jiang Yan has his respect. To him, guys like Yang Hongwei are just absolute trash who are not even worth mentioning. Jiang Yan stays humble, claiming he barely tried. That reminds them of a first-year fight. The arena was packed, and tension was high. Back then, a young Wang Qingfeng surrendered after getting totally wrecked. Since that day, Jiang Yan has forfeited every year they were supposed to fight. They take a long sip, letting the past linger. Jiang Yan wonders if his rival just wanted to yield the top scholarship. After all, a rich kid like Wang does not need the money. But his friend immediately shuts that down. He surrendered simply because Jiang Yan's eyes looked way too ruthless back then. Thinking about the upcoming freshman national tournament, Jiang Yan asks if he plans to forfeit again. That is not happening this time. Wang Qingfeng glares sharply, promising to fight until his teeth are knocked out. They lock eyes, both ready to leave everything on the line once and for all. One last toast with their cans seals the promise. Wang Qingfeng then pulls out a payment card with 2,000 credits. He is officially buying the fast-run strategy guide for the Whirlwind Wolf Dungeon. He waves goodbye, telling him not to lag with the data. Jiang Yan watches him disappear into the crowd. He deeply appreciates this support, swearing to himself he will repay the favor tenfold. With fresh credits in hand, Jiang Yan decides it is shopping time. He heads straight for the street stalls to see what they have. He crosses the street, eyes wide open for hidden gems in the trash, entering the narrow, grimy alleys of the black market. Known for cheap prices, this place is usually filled with pure garbage. Trust me, finding a gem here is like a needle in a haystack, but nothing is impossible for him. He stops before a stall where the vendor is relaxing in sunglasses. His gaze locks onto a demon-fall sword that has a whirlwind wolf gem socketed inside. Come along with me as we dive into this wild story, starting with a serrated blade glowing green, which the system ranks as a level 10 E-rank weapon. It packs decent attack power and triggers a freezing effect upon impact. The seller shamelessly asks for 18,000 credits, claiming it would be worth way more if its durability was not currently trashed. But Jiang Yan is not falling for it. Even for a decent sword, that price is an absolute rip-off. Instead, he shifts his gaze toward a rusty, ordinary sword leaning against the wall. He asks for the price. The system identifies it as a basic bronze sword with mediocre stats made of cheap, common metal. Jiang Yan makes his move. He offers to repair the expensive Demonfall sword for free if the merchant throws in that useless bronze sword as a bonus. The owner lowers his glasses in disbelief, shocked. A kid thinks he can pull off complex repairs as the system activates his durability restoration skill. A bright blue glow wraps around his hand as he begins working on the blade. The seller has no idea that broken sword was just a distraction. Jiang Yan's true target was always that bronze one. He stays locked in while finishing the repair. Hidden beneath that rusty exterior is actually the legendary blue steel sword. Once Jiang Yan uses his modification skill, this piece of junk will transform into a weapon capable of altering his entire destiny. The merchant leans back, staring at him with pure suspicion, questioning the kid's actual rank. He doubts a random student has any business servicing professional-grade weapons. Jiang Yan stays completely calm, introducing himself as a mere rank F repairman while channeling blue digital energy into his hand. He does not need a high rank to know exactly what he is doing. They are standing in a narrow alley surrounded by swords displayed on stone pedestals all over the shop. The atmosphere feels heavy, thick with the scent of old iron and traces of magic. The merchant draws a massive blue blade, acting like some seasoned veteran giving life advice to a rookie. He genuinely believes he is teaching a lesson to an overly ambitious brat. He warns him that if durability hits 0, the weapon becomes unsalvageable junk. One single mistake will turn this treasure into absolute garbage. Real repair work requires feeling the inner structure and the flow of magic running deep inside the weapon. It is a highly delicate process that demands far more than just raw physical force. The guy proposes a risky wager. If Jiang Yan fails and damages the weapon, he will owe the seller 18,000 credits. It is a trap designed to completely terrify the rookie. Yao Kexin watches anxiously from the crowd, knowing even the rank B professionals in her family guild struggle with such complex tasks. She fears for him, but watch closely here. Jiang Yan remains totally unfazed as he tells the man to watch his hands. He has already thoroughly analyzed everything about the true condition of the sword. Relying on his past life experience, he remembers the days spent repairing legendary rank A and S treasures for the ultimate powerhouses. To him, this is just basic routine. In his past, he pushed himself to the limit, refining his useless repair skill until it became his absolute greatest advantage. He never let his low rank define his limits. That flawless discipline traveled back in time with him, providing an insane edge in this new life. His confidence is backed by decades of struggle. A massive holographic circuit erupts around the blade as his skill analyzes and restores the fractured metal. The bright digital glow completely illuminates the dark alley. I know what you are thinking, and yeah, fixing a low-level weapon is pure child's play for him. He guides his mana effortlessly to seal the inner cracks. The onlookers freeze in shock, wondering how some rank F kid possesses such supreme master craftsmanship. The whispers from the crowd quickly shift from mockery to sheer amazement. Even Yao Keishin is stunned. She thought he was just being polite, but he genuinely has the skill to back up his claim. She gazes at the glowing sword in sheer disbelief. He hands the weapon back with a calm smile. The system window confirms durability has returned to 100% without a scratch. The merchant's jaw completely hits the floor as he inspects the handiwork, realizing he totally misjudged the kid's talent. And trust me, he stared at that sword like he was witnessing a literal miracle. He happily takes back his fully restored sword. It is like looking at a masterpiece. Come along and let us see how his attitude toward Jiang Yan completely changes. Job done. The owner happily hands over a broken sword as payment for his incredibly valuable services. Jiang knows his unique ability can instantly transform this cheap scrap metal into a godly weapon with just one single word. It is a trick absolutely nobody is ready for. The system screen pops up for the blue steel sword, waiting for him to rewrite its name and stats. A minor tweak in the description is enough to rewrite its entire history. Amidst golden flashes, the ordinary blade evolves into the legendary Azure Vessel Sword, an absolute upgrade that completely alters the very essence of the steel. We're talking about the weapon of an ancient divine general who wiped out entire armies single-handedly. The edge vibrates with an immense power it has not felt in centuries. With his weapon ready, he focuses on the 2,000 credits he desperately needs to secure his future. Every coin counts when you are starting completely from scratch. He remembers his younger sister, Jiang Yao, crying bitterly after they lost their parents. A massive heartache she still hasn't recovered from, even after all this time. She has become so isolated, trying to find hope in a cruel world, while he watches her sad figure sitting alone at her desk. Jiang Yan sighs deeply, knowing he has to build a solid foundation for her before he heads off to college. He must secure enough money so she can live in peace. Now watch closely, because the gorgeous Yao Kexin suddenly approaches him with deep familiarity. Having closely monitored his every single move, cutting straight to the chase, she offers him 50,000 credits if he helps her power level to level 10. An absolutely mind-blowing sum for what is basically a simple escort job. Checking her status, he sees she is an S-rank holy angel, though her real power remains locked at level 0. She is essentially a sleeping giant waiting to wake up. He accepts without hesitation, making her smile in relief. It is the very first step toward a highly lucrative partnership. He cannot help but smile to himself. I know what you are thinking. What a massive stroke of luck. That badly needed cash literally fell from the sky. Yao Kexin turns right back to the shopkeeper to purchase the Demon Fall sword he is still holding. She wants absolutely no delay when it comes to gearing up for her training session. The shopkeeper hesitates. warning her it costs 25,000 credits now that durability is restored. Testing to see if she actually has the funds, she hands over an elegant box containing an incredibly rare storage ring, and the seller almost loses his mind at the sight of such wealth. She is clearly a high society lady. The merchant bows instantly, offering her the weapon with deep reverence, treating her like absolute royalty. He is practically begging at her feet. Jiang Yan watches from the side, noting her entire style screams pure luxury. It is completely obvious she has never wanted for anything in her life. He knew she was loaded, which is why he never doubted her ability to pay those 50,000 credits. He is just glad she is paying. Kexen tries to sheath the massive blade, but struggles under the immense weight of her purchase. She stumbles backward as the heavy metal nearly drags her down to the floor. Jiang watches her struggle, already calculating how her support skills will help them take down a boss he never encountered in his previous life. He is always several steps ahead. Regaining her balance, she offers him the blade as a gift, hoping it marks a great start to their alliance, and shows her sincere gratitude. Jiang Yan appreciates her kindness, surprised that a rich girl born with a silver spoon isn't arrogant or stuck up at all. He gladly accepts her gift, giving a quick thank you as she looks at him with a rather shy expression. Yao Kexen smiles, clearly relieved to find out that he actually liked the weapon she chose. She watches him closely, sensing his potential is limitless despite his low rank, convinced that earning his trust right now is her smartest move. There is no time to waste, so stick with me as they head straight into the rookie training grounds. Get ready, because you and I are about to watch a brand new generation of hunters unleash their ultimate power in this training facility. Once inside, the brutal training starts immediately. Jiang Yan tears through monsters so fast that Yao Kexen instantly levels up to 5. Server announcements spam the screen as they smash the rabbit record and move to the wolf zone. Moments later, another alert flashes. They just absolutely demolished the wolf area record too. Back in the city plaza, the leaderboards update, flashing their names for the entire academy to see. The other students stare at the screens in absolute shock, wondering who this Jiang Yan guy is, and if his partner really belongs to the legendary Yao family. That name carries massive weight, sparking endless gossip about the powerful bloodline running through her veins. Business-wise, her family owns the Dali Merchant Guild, one of the most influential trading associations in the country. Back in action, Yao Kexen is already closing in on level 10, leaning on her staff just to catch her breath after that insanely fast pace. Jiang Yan has hit level 13 and tells her they can rest while heading to the next challenge. He targets the Class C zone, confident her rank S abilities will let them crush even the most terrifying monsters. Watch closely, here he is actually going to challenge the terrifying Abyssal Flameboar King dungeon. The entrance looms ahead, a high-tech hangar shrouded in a dense fog that screams pure danger. A veteran instructor stops them, warning that this Boar King is a different beast compared to those wolves. Jiang Yan just smiles calmly, saying that high risks always bring the absolute best opportunities to grow. He reminds her that with her rank S buffs, this is a golden chance they cannot waste. The guard steps aside and wishes them luck, watching the duo vanish into the brilliant white portal light. Jiang Yan waves back, accepting the gesture, and then they both step forward into the unknown. They spawn inside a thick, glowing forest, but she instantly notices there are absolutely no smaller mobs around. He explains, "This is no ordinary dungeon, no minions here, just the final boss." I know what you're thinking, they are going straight to the boss without even warming up first. A massive tremor suddenly shakes the earth, rattling the roots and rocks beneath their feet. Jiang Yan grips his sword as the mist swirls, sensing the immense presence, heading straight for them. Out of the fog emerges a mountain of muscle and blue fire, its eyes locked onto the intruders. Yao Kexen freezes, completely paralyzed by the sheer size of the beast, while Jiang Yan just grins, finally finding a worthy opponent. The abyssal flame boar king roars, its tusks glowing with a lethal blue aura as it charges. It lets out a deafening roar that echoes through the trees, lunging forward as its status window pops up. A level 15 beast burning at 200 degrees Celsius with a deadly demonic charge. Jiangyan shouts for her to prep her healing light immediately, and her angelic wings spread wide to give him full support. He doesn't wait to get hit, rushing forward with his swords to strike before the boar builds momentum. He launches himself up with explosive power, leaping high as the giant beast roars right beneath him. Using the momentum of his fall and spinning quickly mid-air, he aims a lethal slash at its neck, while the raging beast tracks the human falling from above. His twin blades strike with a loud metallic clang, sparks flying off the thick hide. The beast dodged the lethal strike at the last second, shocking him with its agility. He lands gracefully, knowing he needs more power, so he plans to modify his sword while she is distracted by the chaos. His eyes glow a deep purple as he decides to alter his weapon's parameters mid-combat. The system triggers his divine power, and, trust me, this is going to change everything. Alright, get ready to watch our main character rewrite his own weapon and change its entire build. Glowing purple and yellow data fragments swirl around the blade as the mod kicks in. Jiangyan grips the hilt tightly, feeling raw power overflow as the steel shines bright. Vibrant energy wraps the blade. It is no longer a simple E-rank sword, now it is a legendary weapon overflowing with insane potential. A status screen pops up, showing the crazy results. This basic sword is now a rank A, counterfeit of a divine weapon, with massive stat bonuses. Jiangyan stares at his lethal new creation with a cold, calculating look, knowing that even his godlike skill cannot break physics to make something incredible out of absolute nothing. But to survive this tight spot, this upgraded replica will easily destroy the beast. With his new blade ready, he charges forward at terrifying speed. His attack power multiplied 5 times over, pushing his physical agility to the absolute limit. He strikes with surgical precision, slashing the neck of the monster in one swift motion with the shining steel. Now pay close attention, because this is where his victory is totally locked in. The impact is so brutal, it shatters the giant tusk of the Boar King, scattering blue sparks all through the fog. The beast shrieks in agony as the mist around them swirls wildly. On the sidelines, Yao Xinyan watches in total shock, unable to process such a destructive display of raw power. But Jiangyan notices the sword starting to fail, its structure cannot hold this much power. He must undo the modification before anyone finds out. Meanwhile, Yao Xinyan stands frozen, staring at the severed tusk with her mind racing. She cannot comprehend how basic E-rank steel could deal this much damage to a C-rank boss. Then, she looks at Jiangyan with a mix of awe and doubt, convincing herself that there is actually nothing special about his sword. She thinks this feat is due to the boy's own hidden power, making him look like a true master in the fog. For an F-rank hunter, his skills must easily surpass the greatest combat classes in the entire world. Jiangyan notices her trying to piece it together. And honestly, you would laugh too at the crazy theory she is cooking up. He snaps her back to reality by shouting at her to use her support skill immediately. He does not want her missing out on experience points if he kills the monster in the next strike. Yao Kexin reacts instantly, raising her staff as glowing golden wings burst from her back. She begins channeling her mana, bathing the entire battlefield in a brilliant holy light. The flash lights up the dark woods as the blue-flamed Boar King prepares to charge in sheer desperation. Jiangyan keeps a close eye on the monster as a genius idea pops into his head. He knows that applying his modifications mid-battle could be a devastating way to attack. Gripping the blue saber in his other hand, he wonders if renaming it would unlock some insane hidden power. He plays with legendary names like Demon God Blade in his head to see how they feel. But he decides to stay cautious, fearing a name too grand might cause a mod failure or a dangerous magical backlash. The underworld Boar King unleashes a deafening roar, activating its innate ultimate ability. A massive aura of blue flame erupts from its body, preparing a devastating, wild charge. Jiang Yan only smiles with absolute confidence, seeing the perfect chance to end this. The ground explodes as the beast rushes him in a blur of blue fire, tearing up the forest. He calmly watches the enemy charge, his mind already choosing the perfect word to shut down the monster's attack. He glances at his partner with a smile, asking Yao Kexin to close her eyes for a second. She is stunned by the strange request, looking at him with worry, clueless about his plan. He tells her to trust him since it gets bloody and, "Trust me, you and I do not want to miss this brutal finish. Come along with me," as she decides to trust him blindly, closing her eyes tight while the beast roars closer. Out of her sight, Jiang Yan raises his hand, ready to make his next reality-bending modification. He activates his unique skill directly on the monster's incoming attack, swapping the word wild in its charge for something far less dangerous. A blue notification screen pops up, confirming the boss's skill modification was a total success. The Wild Boar King's charge loses all its power, its flames dying out as it slows to a snail's pace. Jiang Yan mocks the beast, muttering that such a slow target is absolutely no threat to him. Pay close attention here, he lunges for the finish, reverting the name to hide the evidence before she opens her eyes. A brilliant white flash cuts through the dark as he lands the final, decisive blow. The massive beast collapses to the ground, its blue flames snuffed out for good. A system screen pops up, officially declaring the Hellfire Boar King dead. Golden light bathes Jiang Yan as the massive experience points boost him straight to level 14. He stands over the fallen boss, watching his level climb once more to 15. He figures this huge jump makes sense after taking down the strongest boss in the rookie base. Beside him, Yao Kexin gasps at her sudden surge of power, jumping 3 levels in a row up to 12. She asks timidly if everything is finally over, blown away by the massive experience gained while her eyes were closed, as Jiang Yan casually sheathes his blades. He secretly thinks his excuse about a gory scene was the perfect cover for his real power. Jiang Yan smiles to himself, deeply satisfied with the partner he ended up choosing. Yao Kexin is obedient, incredibly wealthy, and possesses priceless healing abilities. An elite companion, glancing her way, he tells her she can finally open her eyes. He lets her know that the leveling boost she hired him for is officially complete. Yao Kexin slowly opens her eyes, blinking in the bright forest light as she searches for the fearsome beast. I know what you're thinking, she simply cannot believe the massive Boar King is lying dead in the mist. Her mind spins as she realizes he took down such a colossal monster completely alone. She stands frozen, staff in hand and jaw dropped, staring in absolute awe of his strength. She just cannot wrap her head around how he defeated such a terrifying creature by himself. Jiang Yan starts walking away, looking as relaxed as if he were just taking a casual stroll. He tells her the job is done, suggesting they leave the dungeon before more monsters show up. Yao Kexin follows right behind him, keeping her eyes glued to his back. She thinks to herself that he is an extraordinary talent, incredibly strong, chivalrous, and totally true to his word. Feeling her intense gaze, Jiang Yan stops and looks back at her curiously, asking if something is wrong. Yao Kexin takes a step forward and holds out her hands toward him, offering a small object. She hands over the agreed payment, along with an extra gift as a token of her deep gratitude. Jiang Yan looks down at the gift and is instantly taken aback by its appearance. He recognizes the glowing band as a spatial ring, something far more valuable than any standard payment. He recalls that these artifacts are crafted using crystals infused with continuous spatial magic. These rings can only be forged from rare crystals containing pure, space-attributed magic. Right away, he imagines endless treasures and gold coins floating all around him. An item that defies physics, letting you store tons of gear in a tiny, weightless space. Jiang Yan immediately raises his hand to reject the offer, shaking his head. He explains that the gift is simply too precious, and he cannot accept something so valuable for one job. Despite his quick refusal, Yao Kexin firmly keeps her hand stretched out toward him. Jiang Yan knows all too well that even a basic 1 cubic meter ring costs hundreds of thousands of dollars on the market. She insists that he needs it more. What do you think will happen next? Come along with me on this journey as she thanks him for getting her 2 extra levels, handing over a ring as a reward. Jiang Yan stares intensely at the ring, knowing how useful a spatial storage device will be for training hard out in the wild zones. Seeing her sincerity, he finally accepts the small ring, their fingers brushing as he takes his well-earned payment. He holds the item up, examining it with a deeply serious look. He promises that to make up for such a gift, he will grant her one unconditional favor whenever she needs it. The two head back as the forest glows with faint magical sparkles all around them. Jiang Yan tells her they are done for today and that it is time to rest. The rookie leaderboard shows Jiang Yu, our main character's alias, sitting at the top at level 15. The crowd cannot stop talking about the massive number of elite combat classes awakened this year. A massive monument in the center displays the ranking list for everyone to see. Watch closely here. Rumor has it that Nanrong High School number 7 just awakened 3 S-rank classes at once. In front of the great monument, Jiang Yan stays calm despite his current position. He knows his lead is only temporary, since the real prodigies will soon overtake him with their insane growth speed. Let's look at the absolute elite of this new generation, starting with Li Yufeng, the top student from Nanrong High School number 3, an S-rank sword saint who is completely unbeatable in close combat. Then there is Jiang Hong, with his A-rank fiery fist, followed by Lu Yuan, an S-rank Gale assassin specializing in lightning-fast ambushes. These are the monsters dominating the top slots. Jiang Yan remembers them perfectly as the most brilliant figures from his past life. If he plans to conquer the city's peak once again, he will have to crush every single one of them sooner or later. In fact, this time, he is actually excited to face such a challenge. He smirks, imagining the day he will test his upgraded skills against them, though fame is not his main priority right now. See this? The blurry image of his beloved sister suddenly floods his mind. That snaps him right back to reality. He needs to get home immediately. A dark look betrays his pain as he remembers the family he failed to save in his first life. Back then, powerful people kidnapped him for exploitation, leaving his little sister completely abandoned to her fate. Now that he is reincarnated, he is absolutely determined to correct that terrible mistake. Yao Kexin waves goodbye, suggesting they raid another dungeon together soon. Jiang Yan just waves back and heads off toward the suburbs. The sun sets over the horizon, painting the rooftops orange as birds fly freely above. In his past life, once he left this home, he could never find his way back. He walks slowly through the noisy, familiar streets of his old neighborhood. Before, any updates about his sister only reached him through the rumors and gossip of strangers. He knows that in the future, she will awaken an incredible A-rank combat class, but right now, Jiang Yao is just a vulnerable little girl, trying to survive the danger. He gently pushes the door open and steps into their modest, quiet apartment. Jiang Yao greets him immediately, taking his coat and letting him know that dinner is already on the table. A simple meal sits before them, but the atmosphere feels incredibly heavy. She has been distant and quiet ever since their parents disappeared into that demonic rift. The two eat in total silence inside the cramped kitchen, a silence that says absolutely everything. This humble place is a far cry from their reality 3 years ago when their parents were alive. They were a close-knit family, walking under clear skies. But tragedy burned those beautiful memories to ash. Losing their parents completely shattered his sister, leaving her with an emotional wound that seemed impossible to heal. Jiang Yao takes a tiny bite and drops a sudden, shocking bombshell. She decided to drop out of school. Jiang Yan freezes in place, his chopstick suspended in midair. He looks at her completely bewildered. and can only ask why, reminding her that she is an exemplary student in both academics and combat. Dropping out right before the entrance exams makes zero sense. What would you do if you were in Jiang Yan's shoes? Let's dive into this story. She looks into his eyes and says she saw his name topping the rookie list. She promises him that his destiny is to become a powerful awakened who will protect the entire world. It seems she already accepted living in his shadow, sacrificing all her own potential for his sake. Despite her good grades, she claims she won't achieve anything important in her current state. She looks away, completely unable to meet his eyes as she speaks. She insists that instead of wasting time studying, she should start working immediately to help support their home. Jiang Yan does not believe her for a second. He knows she is hiding her real motives and demands the truth. Before she can answer, the front door creaks open. This sudden noise instantly cuts off their tense conversation. A middle-aged man pokes his head inside, waving shyly at the two siblings sitting at the table. He scratches the back of his neck, looking incredibly timid and highly embarrassed. Sensing the heavy atmosphere, he asks if he is interrupting and should come back later. This is Uncle Quan, looking totally exhausted. Slumping onto the couch with his head in his hands, he explains his microfinance company is barely staying afloat. Jiang Yan watches him in absolute silence. This man owns the lending company they have relied on just to keep food on their table. For the last 2 years, they had to borrow from him just to cover basic bills and expenses. Jiang Yan finally connects the dots. Now, pay attention here. Uncle Quan must have visited earlier, which is why his sister is desperate to drop out and work. Jiang Yao sits there with her head bowed, looking utterly and completely defeated. She does not want her education to be another financial burden that drags her brother down. He realizes she is willing to throw away her own future and career just so he can attend college. Jiang Yan stands up to confront the man face to face. He asks Uncle Quan how much they owe in total for these 2 years. Sighing, the man checks his records with a desperate, apologetic face. He says it is around 43,000 credits, and that does not even include the accumulated interest. Jiang Yan does not hesitate for a second. He pulls out a card, hands it over, and says there is 50,000 on it. The extra 6,000 will cover all the built-up interest. A dead silence falls over the room from the sheer shock. You saw that, right? Uncle Quan feels like he is witnessing a miracle, while Jiang Yao practically screams, demanding to know where on earth he got that kind of money. Jiang Yan just gives his sister a calm look. He knows he has plenty of explaining to do, but he wants to wait for their guest to leave first. Uncle Quan just stares at the card in his hand, totally dumbfounded. He never expected this useless F-rank student to pull a fortune out of nowhere and clear his debt in one afternoon. His face says it all. The massive debt that had been crushing their family for years just vanished in the blink of an eye. The man packs up his things and heads for the door, telling them to call him if they need anything else. Now that he has collected every cent, he is more than happy to play the helpful, friendly neighbor. The second the door clicks shut, Jiang Yao whirls on her brother with a face full of intense worry. She is terrified that this money came from something illegal that would make their parents roll over in their graves. Jiang Yan gently pats her head, reassuring her that every single cent was earned through honest, hard work. He tells her never to worry about money again. With a highly confident smile, he declares that he is on track to become the city's #1 rookie. The prize money from reaching those heights is more than enough to completely turn their lives around. He repeats that there is absolutely no reason for her to drop out just to fund his college education. He has already mapped out his entire path. Jiang Yao stares at him, her eyes brimming with tears as that heavy burden finally lifts. She can hardly believe her brother actually changed their lives like this. He hands her a stack of cash, urging her to take it, because there is plenty more where that came from. It is high time they stopped living in this endless survival mode. He explains that he has already found new ways to generate steady income, even if he hasn't fully tapped into them yet. This is just the start of their new reality, and he tells her to focus solely on studying and training from now on. He is aiming incredibly high, and trust me, a wild ride lies ahead for us. Let's dive into how this guy warns her that pressure only gets worse at the very top. Everyone will know she is the sister of the world's greatest genius, so she must be ready to shine. Overwhelmed by all the support, Jiang Yao finally breaks down, biting her lip and shedding tears, seeing how much her brother has changed. She hugs him tightly, sobbing as she swears never to disgrace their family name. Jiang Yan holds her in a firm, silent embrace, knowing the real work begins now. While comforting her, his mind drifts to his next major goal. He needs to level up and make money simultaneously if he truly wants to secure that top student title. His eyes lock onto a target outside the safe zone, the Nanrong Demon Rift. It is a highly dangerous spot, but absolutely perfect for someone with his unique skills to train. His destination is Venom Dragon Valley, a risky zone that is bursting with incredible potential. It is crawling with monsters that will grant him the massive experience boost he desperately needs. The valley is shrouded in a toxic green mist where countless hunters have met their tragic end. But for Jiang Yan, the overwhelming swarm of monsters makes it the ideal spot for rapid leveling. Pay attention here, because rumors speak of a mysterious dragon beast hiding deep inside the valley. Its silhouette is a terrifying reminder of what lurks in the dark, but his ultimate goal is getting a dragon egg. If he can get his hands on one, his universal grafting skill will finally be unlocked, unleashing a power that ordinary people cannot even dream of. He already envisions creating a companion capable of shifting the tide of any battle. That egg is his absolute key to surviving long-term in this world. And even without that egg, the valley remains a literal goldmine of magic crystals. Selling them will ensure his beloved sister never has to stress over money ever again. The decision is made. First thing tomorrow, he sets off. Venom Dragon Valley is going to be his first big step. The next day, his bus pulls up to the Rift Station. A robotic voice instructs everyone to disembark carefully as they enter this heavily guarded zone. You see where this is going, right? Jiang Yan steps off and stares at that giant swirling red energy. But to reach that unexplored territory, he first has to pass through the very center of the city. This is how he enters the massive Nanrong Inner Fortress, a giant metropolis hidden deep inside the rift that acts as humanity's primary shield against the beasts. The entire city is split from the outside world by a massive, spatial passage vibrating with raw power. Up here, the sky glows with a truly surreal, blood-red hue. He knows this area inside out, all thanks to the memories of his past life. Back then, two corrupt powerhouses extorted him, stealing most of his hard-earned money just to let him work here. The streets are crowded with arrogant hunters showing off their most expensive armor and weapons. They walk with pure smugness, eager to unleash total chaos once they cross the outer wall. But Jiang Yan is completely unfazed. Compared to the priceless ring from Yao Kexin, their high-end gear is just trash. Seriously, that girl is playing in a completely different league. He weaves through the crowd until he reaches the East Gate, the absolute perfect shortcut to his destination. He pulls up a digital map of the surrounding areas, checking dangerous zones like Mist Valley. The Dragon Valley is labeled as safe, though that is highly relative. Over there, the monsters are typically level 13 to 18. For anyone else, it would be suicide, but for our main character, it is the prime grinding spot. He closes the map with a slight smirk. Everything is going according to plan to break the rules of this game. When he reaches the gate, he hands over his student ID. His official pass shows he is a farmer and a tinkerer, a combination that outside these walls means instant death. The guard captain examines the card, then stares directly at Jiang Yan, unable to believe a double F rank is going alone. And that's where we stop, because things are getting crazy. Come with me as Jiang Yan takes back his card, thanking them for the concern. He calmly tells them he plans to return alive, showing zero fear. The captain frowns in confusion as he watches the boy walk toward the gate. He hates seeing young people ruin their lives, no matter how low their rank is. Determined to stop him, he reaches out for his shoulder, but right before he can block him, another guard suddenly steps in and halts him. The new guard recognizes the boy instantly. He orders the captain to let him go, explaining he is no ordinary F rank, but the student who shattered the class gap. He goes on detailing Jiangyan's incredible feats, breaking the solo record at the training base, and leading in both theory and combat. He is basically a local legend in the making. The captain stands frozen, watching him leave, unable to understand how a double F rank could possess this kind of power. It goes completely against all the logic of this world. Not even the S-rank geniuses from past years could get close to the records this farmer already set. Ignoring the shocked guards, watch closely as he steps through that glowing green portal. He steps straight into the dangerous Poison Dragon Valley, where his real hunt begins. Zhang Yan immediately notices the thick toxic gas of the valley, a hazard ruining every single step. For a solo climber, this toxic atmosphere is just as lethal as the beasts. He pops an antidote pill that costs $50 and lasts only 3 hours. He is completely broke, so he has to make every second count before the protection expires. A venomous winged lizard drops from the trees, screeching with rage and glowing red eyes. This level 13 creature is a common threat in this zone. He stops the attack with a precise slash of blue energy, cutting the beast in half. The glow leaves a clean arc in the fog. He moves swiftly through the forest, taking down more lizards in rapid succession. His accumulated experience points start skyrocketing with every single enemy kill. He is satisfied, noting that the forest monsters are very different from the training ground ones. To speed things up, check out how he activates his broken modification skill. His gaze turns serious as he prepares to break the rules of his own gear. Turning his back to the path, he readies his weapon. The air around the blade vibrates with digital glitches as his power activates. A notification confirms the change. His cyan steel sword is completely modified. With just one letter changed, the real massacre begins. He charges straight into a horde of beasts, swinging his weapon wrapped in an intense blue glow. The modified sword tears through the entire pack like it is absolutely nothing. Level ups cascade down as he sweeps through the lizards. He hits level 16 fast, skyrocketing his stats. He continues this insane slaughter, facing toxic scavenger toads and rot bats. By the time he finishes clearing the area, he has already reached level 18. Exhausted but victorious, he rests, drinking water while leaning on his weapon. The toxic air surrounds him, but his antidote holds up. He sighs in frustration because, despite the massive slaughter, he has not obtained a single mana crystal. His luck today is absolute garbage. Suddenly, a voice behind him asks if he cleared out the beasts. He turns around instantly, getting defensive. Two figures emerge from the dense fog, staring at the pile of corpses left in his wake. They seem completely shocked by the level of destruction caused by a single hunter. Standing before him is Lu Yuan, a tall, pale S-rank student with dark blue hair and sharp eyes. He is the eldest young master of the Lu family and one of the top local wind assassins. Next to him is Liu Tao, an aggressive bronze-skinned assistant with brown hair tied in a ponytail. Wearing a flashy purple and white vest, he glares at Zhang Yan. Trust me, it is about to get tense. All right, you and I are about to watch this kid completely defy the strongest players. Zhang Yan stands up, looking down on them, asking if they expected someone else. Their high rank does not scare him at all. Liu Tao is absolutely boiling over that insanely arrogant tone, screaming and asking if Jiang Yan even knows who he is messing with. He is used to everyone kneeling before his boss, but Lu Yuan stops his lackey, admitting that Jiang Yan's talent actually surprises him, so he offers him a spot. He sees huge potential hidden behind that low rank. Jiang Yan does not even hesitate. He tells them he is not interested and simply walks away. He knows they just want to exploit his skills without lifting a single finger. Lu Tao is about to explode with rage, absolutely furious they did not beat that arrogant brat to a pulp right then and there. He cannot stand being completely ignored by someone he considers total trash. Liu Yuan watches him walk away, his eyes glowing with a purple light as he senses the kid's incredible power. He tells his henchman to wait, promising him he will get his chance to strike the next time they cross paths. Lu Tao smashes his fists together, swearing to beat that double F-rank kid until he is spitting his teeth off the floor. Now pay attention here. An hour later, Jiang Yan is still pushing deeper alone into the most dangerous part of this toxic forest. He only has one antidote pill left and needs to reach level 19 before his time completely runs out. He walks through the clearing as green mist swirls around his ankles, actively hunting for his next target. The silence of the woods is honestly eerie. He is disappointed not to find any signs of a rare monster. He wanted a real challenge to level up fast. He recalls the rumors about a powerful dragon-like demon beast haunting this valley. So far, nothing has lived up to the hype. Suddenly, he senses movement behind him and spins around fast, his eyes widening as red danger alerts flash across his vision. A surprise attack is lunging from the shadows. A massive, rough purple tongue shoots out of the mist straight at him. He barely manages to leap backward and dodge the blow. He swings his sword down to block the follow-up strike, but the sheer force is way heavier than he anticipated. He grunts as the impact rattles his arms, realizing this beast has insane defense. His cyan steel blade did not even scratch it. And, yeah, I know what you are thinking. This thing is 1,000 times worse than his usual prey. A massive, colossal shadow looms out of the fog, towering over the trees as the ground shakes with every single step. Enter the Miasma Toad Demon King, a terrifying level 20 boss. A massive purple beast with yellow eyes, packing lethal skills like mutated skin and venom that can rot your bones. The beast digs its heavy webbed feet into the soil, revealing razor-sharp claws on every single toe. Its size is absolutely overwhelming, but instead of backing down in fear, Jiang Yan just flashes a cocky grin. He finally found a real boss, and he fully plans on ripping his first mana crystal of the day from its corpse. The Toad King attacks with a massive tongue trap, whipping through the air with raw destructive power. The ground completely shatters from the brutal impact of that raw muscle. The tongue whips at blinding speed, wrapping around him in a complex strike meant to trap and crush him instantly. But he stays perfectly calm, his glowing eyes tracking the monster's every move. He knows exactly how to shut down this technique and flip the script, activating his modify skill right on the beast. A digital shockwave ripples out as he rewrites reality, turning that dangerous tongue strike into a massive knot. The gargantuan tongue suddenly twists up, tying itself into an absolute tangled mess. The Demon King just stares in sheer confusion, his main weapon completely useless and stuffed back in his own mouth. Jiang Yan launches himself into the air, capitalizing on the giant beast's tongue being totally pinned down. He grips his sword tightly, determined to finish this battle with one single devastating blow to the skull. His blade crashes down hard against the Toad King's heavy skull, showering the area in bright sparks. The monster's hide is unbelievably tough, easily resisting the edge of his steel sword. Jiang Yan's eyes go wide with shock when he realizes his blade cannot even pierce that thick hide. And that is where we leave it for today, with our hero's current level falling just short of breaking this insane defense. The Miasma Toad King activates its mutated skin skill, causing its entire body to glow with an eerie blue light. Alright, let's dive into this crazy battle where our main character's defense is officially off the charts. But just look at the warning popping up on screen. His toad tongue modification has expired. Since the beast's level is way higher than his, the effect lasted way less than expected. The knotted tongue instantly snaps back to its massive original size as those digital glitch effects fade away completely. Jiang Yan grinds his teeth, realizing his crucial skill just failed him at the absolute worst possible moment. He hits the ground and leaps back to create distance, cursing the massive downside of using modifications against high-level bosses. At his current level, he cannot maintain these effects. Fighting stronger opponents drastically cuts the duration of every single change he applies to them. If luck is not on his side, his skills might fail entirely, leaving him totally exposed mid-combat. The Toad King gives him no breathing room, launching a lightning-fast pink flash of its tongue. That prehensile muscle whips through the air with terrifying force, forcing Jiang Yan to keep dodging frantically. Jiang Yan stands his ground as that massive tongue looms right over him. Now watch closely, because he has to risk absolutely everything just to survive this next move. A sharp, confident smirk spreads across his face as he prepares his desperate counterattack. He still has a few aces left and will gamble it all on one highly dangerous upgrade. Channeling his power into the ring, his blue skill aura flares up as he targets the Demonfall Saber. He is about to completely rewrite the very nature of his own weapon. A chaotic storm of digital glitch particles wraps around the blade, twisting its structure as the modification activates. The air crackles with pure, raw power around the blade. The transformation is complete. The Demonfall Saber has now become the Demon King's blade. Intense, wild red energy erupts from the metal, dyeing the mist in a bloody crimson shade. Jiang Yan grips the hilt as a massive red eye snaps open on the guard, staring out with pure, ancient malice. Dark energy swirls around him like a violent hurricane. The system identifies it as the Demon King's blade, holding the seventh Demon King, Blood Spirit Asura. It holds overwhelming demonic power from the underworld, granting an uncontrollable berserker strength that threatens to devour its wielder. Jiang Yan desperately fights to stay sane as the sheer weight and malevolent aura of the sword crush his mind. You see the danger here, right? He has to destroy this beast before completely losing his sanity. He lunges forward, swinging the crimson blade in a massive arc, shouting, "Take my blade!" as the pure impact of his energy tears a glowing red path straight through the heavy darkness. A colossal pillar of crimson and white energy erupts on impact, instantly vaporizing the toad from the miasma. The monster is completely reduced to ash by the terrifying, godlike power of this Demon King. As the explosion clears, a massive crater is left in the forest, while Jiang Yan collapses to his knees. He gasps heavily for air, his entire body trembling from the sudden and absolute depletion of his energy. It hits him all at once. Just a single swing of that cursed weapon drained everything he had. He is completely defenseless now, totally drained. Looking down at his hand, he sees dark red, vine-like veins creeping up his arm from the sword. The cursed blade is actively corrupting his physical body, greedily feeding on his very life force. He tries to reach out and use his modification to reverse the transformation, but his head is spinning. He can barely keep his eyes open as that malicious dark energy continues to crawl across his skin. Jiang Yan completely collapses, face planting right into the dirt as his remaining strength totally vanishes. With his mana completely depleted, he has no way to defend himself against any upcoming threat. Suddenly, a booming, arrogant voice echoes inside his mind, mocking his weak and fragile human limits. The seventh Demon King, Blood Spirit Asura, speaks directly through the blade, demanding a heavy price for his borrowed power. The terrifying presence of the Demon King manifests as a giant eye surrounded by swirling red and black aura. Treating our hero like a mere insect, and trust me, you and I can feel his absolute despair. The malevolent spirit boasts that even without his physical body, his mere essence is enough to enslave all of humanity. Alright, you and I are about to see how just 1/10 of this Demon King's power threatens to wipe out all of humanity. His master plan is to hijack Jiang Yan's body as a vessel to reclaim all his former glory. Exhausted and pushed to his absolute limit, Jiang Yan concentrates as a digital blue glow erupts on his forehead. He warns the beast that he totally expected this betrayal and already has a backup plan ready. After all, this is not the first time he has modified a Demon King's cursed weapon. Drawing his original sword, he stands ready to completely shatter the evil consciousness lingering inside that cursed blade. He fires a concentrated burst of blue modification energy straight into the eye on the weapon's hilt. Digital shockwaves clash violently against the crimson demonic aura, triggering a massive blinding explosion of pure light. The red energy is forcefully suppressed, getting sucked right back into the sword as it hits the eye. Now, pay close attention, because this is where our main character's power takes absolute control. The blood spirit of the seventh demon king, Asura, unleashes one final, glitched roar before being silenced for good. He vows to return and tear Jiangyan apart, but his voice gets cut short as the connection breaks. The crimson energy is completely sealed in the blade, leaving behind only a harmless faint glow. Quiet returns to the forest as the Demon King's massive threat is safely contained for now. Jiang Yan collapses in the crater, gasping for air as the corruption veins on his arm slowly fade. He survived the corruption by a hair. He realizes that by destroying the accidentally summoned spirit vessel, the danger is gone. His high-stakes gamble worked, but it left him completely drained and physically ruined. He decides to rest until he recovers enough energy to restore the sword's original name. He knows he can't risk keeping it in its current corrupted state for even a second longer. Leaning back against a rock, he remembers his past life and the disasters caused by his modification skill. He has run into this terrifying force before, and he knows exactly how dangerous it is. He recalls when the thunder spirit of the ninth Demon King descended from a similar modification accident. In his memories, a massive shadowy silhouette with a single glowing eye loomed over a Gothic cathedral. That incident was way more lethal than this, requiring a Guardian General over level 80 to step in and save the city. I know what you're thinking. Is his power a massive blessing or a curse spiraling out of control? Staring at the cursed sword, he realizes that targeting the inner spirit vessel is the only way to subdue ancestral beings, a secret he learned through brutal first-hand experience. Peering into the fog, he wonders if these beasts come from the demon rift, or represent something far older and deadlier. The mystery lingers as he slowly pulls his energy back together. Jiang Yan stares down at the cursed weapon, the marks on his arm a stark reminder of that devastating power. He wonders if these demon kings originate from a world even more terrifying than his own. Finally catching his breath, he decides it is time to stand up and claim his hard-earned loot. Activating his modification skill, a digital aura wraps around the steel, restoring the sword to its original form. He walks toward the center of the clearing, right where the giant boss was defeated, eager to see if the risk paid off, knowing a boss of this level must drop absolutely insane rewards. A massive glowing purple crystal floats right in the middle of the clearing as the mist clears. It is a level 22 magic boss crystal, an extremely rare, valuable resource vibrating with pure energy. A genuine grin spreads across his face as he stares at the absolute fortune he just secured. Estimating its worth at around 100,000, he realizes he is finally, officially, filthy rich. He uses his gathering skills on the massive carcass of the Demon Toad King and the other defeated monsters. These remains yield top-tier materials that will undoubtedly fetch an incredible price back in the city. Planning his next move, he knows the official market won't pay him decent profits for loot like this. So, he decides to head straight to the underground black market in Nanrong City. And trust me, what these system windows reveal next is something you and I do not want to miss. Come along with me and let's watch him gain massive experience after defeating the Miasma Toad King and an unknown beast. His level shoots from 18 to 20 in an instant, a massive leap for just a single day of hunting. He realizes the reward for the unknown creature actually came from suppressing the consciousness of the Asura blood spirit. He thinks about a potential loop, summoning these entities just to defeat them, and grinding massive experience to jump straight to level 100. A diagram of this loop flashes in his mind. But suddenly, he gets a terrifying vision of a giant red eye threatening his very hometown. He understands that if he ever loses control of such a summon, entire civilizations could be destroyed alongside him. His face hardens with caution, and he decides not to take such an unnecessary risk. He knows the immense weight of the power he wields and the devastating consequences of abusing it. He remembers that reaching every 10th level grants him a brand new innate ability. Now pay attention here, because he opens his status screen to check the new skills unlocked at level 20. A massive blue screen displays his new abilities, the disassembly technique and farmer pest immunity. He carefully reads their detailed effects and requirements. He is thrilled with the changes, especially disassembly, a perfect tool to make money from raw materials. It lets him double rewards with a loot critical hit. Then, he looks at the pest immunity. His mind is already racing, thinking of the possibilities for his modification skill. He realizes he can turn it into damage immunity by changing just a single letter. Even with heavy restrictions on such power, he knows very well it will be an invaluable asset in life or death situations. He keeps thinking about how to fully exploit this massive potential. With his new level, skills, and loot secured, Jiang Yan turns and leaps out of the clearing. Leaving the Poison Dragon Valley behind, he heads back to the city. But something is hiding in the trees. A mysterious figure watches him, hidden among the branches. Jiang Yan notices the stalker right away. He recognizes the guy as a lackey of young master Lu Yuan. A hand grips a dagger, ready to strike. Liu Tao leaps down from above, revealing himself to be a level 17 assassin. I bet you saw this coming. He mocks his low F rank and moves like a blur to attack. He lunges forward, daggers in hand, activating his extreme speed. This skill boosts his agility by 30% to crush the F-rank recruit. Liu Tao smirks, thinking he has already won. He cannot imagine a low-rank recruit keeping up with him. Honestly, Jiang Yan is just bored. He stands completely still, unfazed by the enemy's speed. A flash of steel cuts the air with a lethal counterattack. Liu Tao is sent flying, coughing up blood from a deep chest wound. He did not even see the strike coming. Trembling, Liu Tao cannot comprehend how he was overpowered. He notices Jiang Yan drew an incredible sword from a costly spatial ring. Jiang Yan walks forward amidst flashes of energy, looking completely bored by this entire ambush. Looking down at the assassin, he asks if he really thought his class made him completely invincible. He explains that training, stats, and actual battle wits are what truly decide a fight. Standing over the wounded man, Jiang Yan makes it clear he is not even on his level to fight. He adds that maybe things would be different if his master showed his face instead. A purple projectile slices a leaf in half. Jiang Yan looks up as his new opponent arrives. Speak of the devil. Lu Yuan crashes down from the trees with a heavy strike. Jiang Yan blocks the impact in a shower of sparks. The S-rank student pushes the clash forward, praising Jiang Yan for having such an excellent sword. Jiang Yan just smiles, admitting that Lu Yuan's weapon is not half bad either. Both leap backward to gain some distance, staring each other down through the rising mist. Lu Yuan did not come to chat. He wants to test the strength of the #1 freshman recruit. And that is where we leave it. We both know this guy is just jealous and looking for a fight. You and I know normal duels are boring, so Jiang Yan proposes a high-stakes bet. Loser forfeits their weapon, and Lu Yuan accepts the deal without hesitation. He activates his S-rank Gale Cape, boosting his agility by 80%. But watch closely, Jiang Yan just leans on his sword, already eyeing this new addition to his collection. Crazy, right?